Hello, welcome to Polynomials Day 3. Today we're going to be multiplying polynomials. So please make sure you have this worksheet in front of you, a pencil, and I highly recommend having some colors, so markers or colored pencils. Before we start off, I want to do a really quick review right here. So I'm going to do review on exponents. So remember that an exponent is when we have a number, so it's say 2, and we write a small number to the side like this. This is saying that the number is multiplying by itself, okay? So multiplying by itself. By itself. That many times. So this would be 2 times 2, okay? See how we have 2 of them right here? So for example, we had 2 with an exponent of 3. This would be 2 times 2 times 3, times 2, sorry. You see how we have 3 of them now? If we had 2 to the 4th exponent, this would be 4 of them multiplying together. So it would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And this works with any exponent, okay? So if I had x squared, this would be 2 of them multiplying by itself. So it would be x times x. Now let's go backwards. What if I had x times x times x times x? Well, since they are all x's, I can write x, and they're multiplying, and there are 4 of them multiplying together, it would be x to the 4th power, okay? This is just something I want you to have in mind. So let's go ahead and do this first problem, okay? So right here we have a term of 1. So this is 1 term. And right here, we have a term of 3. So we have 3 terms. Okay. We're going to use this information to make our box, which is going to be our first step. We're going to use this box method because it helps a lot with keeping our work organized. So our first step is going to make our box depending on how many terms we have. So for example, since we have a 1 and 3, we're going to make a 1 by 3 box. So it's going to look something. Oops. Make sure to give yourself a lot of space. Okay, so there's my box. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to write our polynomials on the side. On the side of the box. So right here, I only have 1 square. So right here's going to go my 1-term polynomial. So I'm going to write x right here. Up here I have 3 squares. This is where my 3-term polynomial is going to go. So I have 3x squared minus 5x plus 2. Notice how I wrote 1 term on each box, okay? My next step is I'm going to multiply my coefficients. Now, I know this seems like a lot of work so far, but really it's just setting up the box. Once you learn how to set up the box, you'll be able to go through. So I'm going to multiply my coefficients. Remember, back to our day one, that coefficients are the numbers in front of the variables, okay? So let's go ahead and identify that. So right here, my coefficients, I have are 3. So I'm going to do 3. And then in front of my x, I have an imaginary 1. So I'm going to do times 1. That is going to give me a 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Okay. Now I'm going to do it with this one. So this is going to be negative 5. Negative 5. Oops, give me a second. Times, and this one's also being multiplied with this one, okay? So it's also being multiplied with this 1. So times 1. Negative 5 times 1 is just negative 5. Let's keep going down the boxes. So this one is going to be 2, right? Because it just has a 2. Times, again, my 1 over here. 1. 2 times 1 is just 2. So here I'm going to get a 2. So we have to make sure we do this in every box. So let's add that to our list. In, oops, every box. My last step is we have coefficients. We also have variables. So I'm also going to multiply my variables in each box. So let's look at the variables now. I'm going to make a line right here just to separate my work. So my x, I have x squared right here. X squared is x times x. Oops. And on my left-hand side of the box, with my purple terms, there's an imaginary 1 right here. I only have one x right there. So I only get one of those. X times x times x. Remember, if you write this as as an exponent, I have x. And since I have 3 of them, it becomes the power of 3. Okay? Let's go ahead and do my second box. So on my top of my box, I only have an imaginary 1, so I only have one x right here. It's being multiplied by this 1x over here. X times x, I can rewrite as x to the 2 power. Lastly, my last box. I have no variables here. You see that? I don't have any x's. The only one that has an x is over here on my left-hand side. So I only technically have this one x right here. Well, since I only have one x, the way we write it is we just bring it down. X. Now my last step is I have to check if I can combine anything. Combine like terms. I'm going to go ahead and bring my answer out of my box so far. So I have 3x to the third minus 5x squared plus 2x. So I'm going to check if I can combine anything. Right here I have x to the third. Is there any x to the thirds? Nope, there's not. I have an x squared. Is there any other x squares? No, there's not. I have an x. Is there anything else with just an x? No, there's not. So I am done, and this is my answer. Now let's go ahead and try problem number 2. So again, we're going to make our box depending on how many terms we have. So right here I have 2 terms. Right here I have 2 terms. So I'm going to make a 2 by 2 box. So I'm going to do So we have 2 right here, and then we have 2 rows. My next step is I'm going to write my polynomials along the side and the top. So I'm going to put 2x plus 2 over here. It does not matter where you write which one. And then x plus 2. Remember to bring the sign along. So our box is set up. Now we're going to actually get into the math. Our third step is we're going to multiply the coefficients in every box. So remember that this x right here has an imaginary 1. So I'm going to do 2 times 1, which is just 2. Over here, I'm also going to do 2 times my 1 over here. Again, it gives me 2. Now I have to do a second row. I have to do all the boxes, okay? So for this box, I am going to do 2. So 2 times this box over here, 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Now my last box, I'm going to do 2 times 2 over here. This also gives me a 4. Fourth step, I'm going to multiply variables in each box. So in this box right here, starting off my first box, I have an x right there, times another x right here. X times x, I can rewrite as x to the second power. My second square, I have no variable right here, and I only have this x over here. So it's just going to be a lonely x. I only have one of them, so I'm going to bring it down to just x. We're almost done. Third square. I have an x right here. I have no x over here. The 2 is by itself, so it's just that lonely x. X by itself is just x, so I'm going to bring it down. And lastly, on my last square, I have no x over here, and I have no x over here. So there's nothing to multiply, so my answer is 4. Now we are almost done. I'm going to take out my answer so far in my boxes. So 2x squared plus 2x plus 4x plus 4. My last step is I have to check if I can combine like terms. So here I have x squared. There are no other x squares, so I'm going to just bring it down, 2x squared. Right here I have 2x. I have an x right here. Now I also have another x over here. I have 4x. These two can combine. So I have to combine 2x plus 4x. And my last one is 4. I cannot combine anything else with 4. There are no other numbers, so I'm going to just bring it down, 4. So the only ones I can combine are my 2x and my 4x. 2x plus 4x, so I have 2 x's, and I'm adding another 4. That gives me 6. And remember that this 4 is positive. So this is my answer, and we are done. So go ahead and jump on to Delta Math. If you have any questions, let me know.